Subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories like this one. The afternoon sun poured through the caf windows, casting warm golden rays across the wooden floors. The soft clink of silverware and the hum of quiet conversation filled the air. It was the kind of place where people came to relax, sip their coffee, and escape the noise of the world. The smell of freshly baked pastries mixed with the rich aroma of brewing coffee, making the atmosphere feel inviting, peaceful. The quiet buzz of a typical caf on a lazy afternoon. In the corner near the back sat a man in his mid-30s, his dark hair slightly tousled and his face showing the wear of time. Tom had recently moved to the area, hoping that the change of scenery would help him heal. His leg, still stiff from an injury he had sustained during his time in the military, was propped up slightly on a footrest under the table. His cane rested beside him, a constant reminder of the battles he'd fought, both on the field and within himself. He was used to the stares, the awkward glances from strangers when they noticed his cane. It was part of his new reality, a reality he wasn't sure he was ready to face. Today, Tom had decided to try something different. He'd spent too much time hiding in his apartment, avoiding the world. Today, he wanted to change, even if it was just a cup of coffee in a quiet place. But as he sat there, waiting for his order, a gnawing feeling of discomfort filled his chest. Every few minutes, his gaze flicked to the door or the barista behind the counter. He couldn't help it. His mind raced, wondering if anyone would say something, if anyone would react to him sitting here, alone. Then, the waitress approached, and Tom prepared to order, trying to push the discomfort aside. The moment their eyes met, something shifted. She looked at him, and then down at his cane, a flicker of judgment crossing her face. Her smile faded, and her posture stiffened. "What can I get you?" she asked, her voice polite but distant. Tom hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to respond. He wasn't looking for special treatment. He just wanted a quiet place to sit. "I'll have a coffee," he said, his voice calm but uncertain. "And maybe a sandwich if you have one?" She nodded curtly, though her eyes continued to glance at his leg and cane, her gaze never quite meeting his. She hesitated for just a second before turning away and walking toward the counter. It wasn't much, but the way she had looked at him left a sour taste in his mouth. Maybe it was just his imagination, but it felt like she was judging him, treating him as though he didn't belong. Tom tried to shake it off, but the discomfort lingered like a shadow in the back of his mind. What happened next, however, would change everything. As the minutes ticked by, Tom sat there, slowly sipping his coffee, staring out the window. He was lost in thought when he suddenly heard a soft, familiar voice. That wasn't right. Tom turned around in surprise, his eyes widening when he saw who it was, Keanu Reeves. Yes, that Keanu Reeves. The man who had stolen hearts across the world through his roles in The Matrix and John Wick. But it wasn't his fame that drew Tom's attention, it was the warmth and kindness radiating from him. Keanu walked up to Tom's table with a calm, genuine expression, and before Tom could even respond, Keanu was sitting across from him, looking at him with soft, empathetic eyes. "I heard what happened," Keanu said, his voice steady but filled with kindness. "And I just want to say that was wrong. No one should ever treat you that way." Tom sat there, stunned. Was Keanu really talking to him? And more importantly, was he standing up for him? His mind struggled to process what was happening. It wasn't just the fact that Keanu Reeves was talking to him, it was the fact that anyone was taking the time to acknowledge what had just happened, to stand up for him. Tom wasn't used to that. Before Tom could speak, the waitress reappeared, her face flushed with realization as she saw who was sitting at Tom's table. She froze for a moment, blinking in disbelief. "Oh my gosh, Mr. Reeves," she stammered. "I didn't realize it was you." Keanu gave her a kind but firm look, his voice gentle but unyielding. "It's not about who I am. It's about how we treat others. What you said to this man here, it wasn't right. His tone was calm, but there was no mistaking the seriousness in his words. The waitress looked down at the floor, her face a mix of guilt and embarrassment. I didn't mean to be disrespectful, she mumbled, her voice apologetic. Keanu turned back to Tom, his expression softening. Tom, is it? He asked. Tom nodded, still in shock that he was speaking with someone who was not only a global movie star, but a person who cared. Tom, Keanu continued, you've earned respect. And anyone who doesn't see that, well, they don't deserve your time. The waitress's face softened as she realized the gravity of the situation. I'm sorry, she said to Tom, her voice sincere now. I really didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. Tom stared at her for a moment, processing the apology. It wasn't easy for him to accept, but there was something different in her eyes now, something real. Tom took a deep breath before speaking, his voice quieter than before. It's all right? It hurt, that's all. Keanu smiled at him, the same gentle smile that had earned him admiration from fans all over the world. That's the thing about kindness, he said, looking at both of them. It doesn't cost anything, and it makes all the difference. There was a moment of silence between them, the air heavier with the weight of the words spoken. The waitress, now visibly humbled, gave a small nod. Thank you for your understanding, she said, then quickly turned and walked away to tend to her other duties. Keanu turned back to Tom, giving him a small, reassuring smile. You know, I've been in your shoes before. Not in the same way, but I've had people judge me for things they didn't understand. It happens to all of us. Tom nodded, feeling the weight of the conversation settle on his heart. Keanu wasn't just offering him words of encouragement, he was offering him understanding, the kind that Tom had been missing for a long time. Well, Keanu said, standing up, I think it's time to go. But, Tom, don't ever let anyone make you feel less than who you are. You're a hero. Don't forget that. Keanu paid for both their meals, and with a final smile, he walked out the door, leaving Tom with more than just a meal and a celebrity encounter. He had left him with a renewed sense of dignity, with the reminder that kindness, no matter how small, had the power to heal. As Tom sat there, his heart felt a little lighter. Maybe the world wasn't so cold after all. Maybe, just maybe, there were still moments of kindness that could make everything right. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories about kindness and how small actions can make a big difference.